Okay, guys, I wanted to go over the notes that you just wrote down and just give a little bit of explanation. Now, we have been working with our slope and y-intercept for a while now, but we wanted to just make sure that we're good. So we remember our equation is going to be y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So for slope, we can use rise over run. It may be the change in y or the change in x. It may be rate. We know what slope is, and we know that it has different names. Your y-intercept, that's where the line crosses your y-axis. So even on our examples, you see you have your y-axis, you have your x, and then there's my line. Okay? So there's three questions that you should be asking yourself when you're trying to figure out what this equation is. And those questions also help you get rid of answer choices if you're doing a multiple choice assessment. So let's jump in. So that first question is my slope, which is m, positive or negative? That's going to help me get rid of answer choices because if I know my slope, like in this case, is positive, if I see answer choices that have a negative slope, I can go ahead and get rid of those. Now, I know my slope is positive because my line is going to the right. Okay? If my line is going to the right, it's positive. If it's going to the left, it's negative. So, what is my slope? I'm sorry, is the slope positive or negative? It's positive. What is my y-intercept? Now, my y-intercept, remember, that's where my line crosses the y-axis. And I like to go ahead and do that in blue. And it's at a -2. What is the slope? What is my m? So remember, that's when I can use my rise over run. So I like to take my y-intercept as one of my points. Remember, you have to find 2 points. So I'm going to do my y-intercept in this one. You could do this one if you want. So my rise over run, where do they meet? My rise is 1, my run is 5. Now, if you want to do the steps, if you want to do the little bubbles, that's absolutely okay. I'm just going to use my pink for my rise, my purple for my run, okay? So now that I know my slope is positive, I know that my y-intercept is a -2, and I know my slope is 1/5, I'm going to put those into my equation. So remember, it was y equals mx plus b, where m was my slope and b was my y-intercept. So my slope was 1/5. My y-intercept was a -2. So I have my equation, y equals mx plus b. Because it was a -2, we went ahead and did that. Okay? So I like the colors. So I always want to identify my origin. I do that in yellow. I usually do blue for my y-intercept, and of course my rise over run is in pink and purple, just like you did in 7th grade, okay? So the last two, exact same thing. We're asking our questions. Is my slope positive or negative? This one is going to the left, so I know it's negative. What is the y-intercept? Right here, this is where my line crosses. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the slope? Well, I need to do my rise over run. So again, I like to use my y-intercept as 1 point because I know where that one is. So here's another one right here. So my rise was 1, 2, 3, 4. My run was 1. We know 4 over 1 is equal to 4. So I just need to take these pieces and put them into my equation. So I knew my slope was negative. My slope, y equals m, is 4. So -4x plus b. Remember, my b is my y-intercept. So y equals -4x plus 4. Okay? And then same thing with this last one. Is my slope positive or negative? It's going to the right. So it's positive. What is the y-intercept? Where does my line cross the y? It crosses right here at that -2. What is the slope? I need to find my rise over run. So here's my y-intercept. I'm going to use that one. There's another one right there. That's going to give me 2 for my rise, 1 for my run. 2 over 1 is just 2. So I can go ahead and I can put those into my equation, y equals mx plus b. Now, don't get confused, but we're good with our integers. So I know it says plus b, but if my b is negative, I'm going to put it in as a negative, okay? Now, when you're watching a video from the notes. If there's anything that you want to add to your notes, that's absolutely okay. It's something, oh, let me write that down. That's absolutely okay. All right. So what I want to do at the end, I want to just walk through one with you. Okay. So I am going to, first of all, I'm going to find my origin. I just like to know where it is. I know that my equation, just rolling by, y equals mx plus b. This is my slope. This is my y-intercept. I'm going to ask myself my questions. And as you get in the habit of this, you won't have to write the questions out, but I want you to be in the process of going through them in your head. So my first question is my slope positive or negative? Well, my line is going to the left. I see it just decreasing, so I know that my slope is negative. What is my y-intercept? My y-intercept, remember, is where does my line cross the y? So my y-intercept is 1. And then my third question is, what is the slope? So I need to find me another point. And if I follow my line, it's not that one. It goes all the way over here. So I need to see where they meet. I'm going to do my run first. And then I am going to do my rise. Now, if I count them, let me zoom in for you. I'm going to put this on here. Rise over run. My rise is 1, 2. And my run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I told you, if you want to use these little bumps to count, that's fine. If you want to use the stairs, that's also fine. Whatever helps you, okay? Now, our rise over run is 2/5. That's a fraction. It's not an improper fraction. It doesn't change to a whole number, so we're going to leave that alone. So, y equals, I know I have a negative slope, m, which was my slope, x plus b. That's the equation for that line. So you're going to take these pieces and put them together to make your equation, okay? So what you're supposed to do after you watch the video and take the notes, you're supposed to submit your notes. Put this in with your submission so I know that you got to the end of the video, okay?